This interview is part of an assignment for a course that is currently being pursued by the researcher at the Cyril Potter College of Education. The purpose of this interview is to gather information on the different kinds and causes of deviant behaviors, how teachers or persons in authority at school deal with such behaviors, and how to create social control in the home and at school. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
And can you introduce yourself?
My name is Justin Augustus, and I'm in grade 6.
Okay, Justin. So can you tell me some of the behavior of the children in your school?
Sometimes there's fight, curse, and bully other people's children.
Okay, and Justin, what do the teachers do about this type of behavior?
Sometimes the teachers punish them, or if they do something really bad, the teachers just call their parents.
Okay, thank you. Can you introduce yourself?
Okay, now my first question is, what are some of the behaviors that the children portray at your school?
They would fight a lot. They would sing and dance to Bollywood music, and they would say things like that, do things like talk about things that adults really talk about.
Okay, and what are some of the things that the teacher would do when those things happen?
They would yell at them. They would.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. And how are you doing today?
Fine, sir.
Okay, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Sarah, and I'm a Form 4 student.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now, my first question for you is, what are some of the behaviors you notice with the children at your school?
I see a lot of vaping, drinking, and fights.
Now, with those behaviors, what would the teachers normally do?
Well, the teachers, I don't really see them do anything, but at assemblies they would assess the problem state, and then when they get caught doing it, they would get suspended. The student.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good afternoon. And how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Can you introduce yourself for me?
I'm Michael Clark and I'm a fifth form student.
Okay, Michael. Well, this evening I have two questions for you. My first question is, what are some of the behaviors that the children normally portray at your school?
The children, just two issues alone that we had in the school so far, which was vaping and late submission of assignments and homework.
Okay. Now, what do teachers normally do when those bad behaviors, or those behaviors rather, are displayed?
Well, for the vaping issues, I think only twice this happened, and each time the students who were caught doing it, they got suspended and parents got called in.
Okay.
And the late submissions, well, it's not just late submissions alone, but every time we have tests, like for me example, I am doing good in most subjects,
Okay.
except for principles of accounts for a certain time.
Okay.
And a day we do a test,
And you fall back?
yeah,
Okay.
and the sir calling the parents, and my mother had to come in, and then we discuss a plan.
To help in that
Yeah.
behavior. Okay.
And after that, I actually did get
Better.
better at accounts.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay.
Thanks.
Hi, good afternoon. And how are you doing today?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm fine, thank you.
Can you introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Green. I'm a mother of one, and also I have been teaching for over a decade now.
All right, Ashley. So the question is, what do you think schools can do to maintain social control?
Okay, as a teacher, I believe there's a lot more that schools can do. Firstly, I believe that schools can involve parents more, involve community leaders more, and also persons like counselors more at the school, and they can also speak to the students. They could have weekly talks and invite these community workers to come and speak to the students, and also teachers can also speak to the students and let them know that there are consequences for their actions. If they have positive or good actions, they will have rewards for those things, but for the negative behavior, they will have punishments or disciplinary actions.
Alright, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, and how are you doing today?
I am fine, thank you. Can you introduce yourself? My name is Valencia Clark, and I'm a parent of one secondary school student.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, my question for you this evening is, what can schools do to help with social control of children?
Schools can get a one-on-one session with the parents of those delinquent students. They can invite the discipline service members to have workshops with these delinquent students to educate them on the consequences of delinquent behaviors. They can offer counseling. They can have other workshops that involve these children, so that they can take their minds off of bad behavior.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, and how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm Warrant Officer Class 2, Dwayne Clark. I'm a member of the Guyana Defense Force, 27 years now. I'm a member of the Signal Corps, which is responsible for communication. My job there is to instruct, and I've been doing that since 2010. So, more or less, I'm an instructor in the Guyana Defense Force.
And I made to understand that you also deal with youths.
Yes, well, the mere fact that I'm instructing, which is year round, which is from February to December, I basically have to supervise those ranks that come to do these courses, mainly grade 3, grade 2, grade 1 courses and so on, for the period that they're under my command. And that's dealing with all aspects of their life: admin, discipline, welfare, and everything.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So you mentioned that you deal with youths, young ranks, and all aspects of their lives. Now, based on your experiences with those young ranks, what are some causes of delinquent behaviors in children?
Well, more or less, I love to analyze situations. I like to go in depth, and I would first like to say that charity begins at home. And the mere fact that you have youths acting up different stages of their life is not by chance. And what I would suggest is that a lot of broken homes are contributing to this phenomenon. Now, I look at it closely, and you find that in the past, even if we had challenges in the home, the next line of defense, since I'm military, I like to use that term, defense was the community, where if the family is falling short when it comes to do with bringing up that child and having them straight and so on, and instilling discipline and so on, the community used to be the next line of defense, where you have elders who would chastise a child and say, hey, look, you cussing or wherever it is. We've moved away from that, and I feel that that is another contributing factor. Community, there is no community anymore. Beyond that, the community, the religious organizations. When I grew up, I used to have Pathfinder and all these kind of things. You know, and all of that, all of these programs and institutions, churches and so on would have contributed and helped to mold these young lives, including myself. Right? The church is lacking, right? For the use of a better term, is lacking. I believe that they can be more outgoing and reach out to the youths and develop programs targeting these youths, especially the ones that are from broken homes. After the religious institutions, the next line of defense in the past used to be educational institutions, schools, and so on. The government would have amended the policy of corporal punishment. So that institution now, basically their hands are tied to some extent, because the supervision of any corporal punishment, the bureaucracy surrounding it, you know, by the time it's instilled or administered, it's of little use.
Thank you very much for that. The second question is, what can be done specifically in the schools to help these children?
And the school system, right now is confined by current policy, and the individual schools have to conform with national policy, which is here we're speaking about the corporal punishment. So I would more or less say that we need to find a way to convince the parents of these kids the importance of investing in their children, coming to these parent teachers association gathering and so on, and taking part, being a part of their child's educational life.
Okay. And my last question is, what types of support can be offered to help these children outside of the school system? That can be within the homes or in the community.
Yeah, well, in that regard, I would say it's good if we can solicit the help of non-governmental organizations. And we've had some of these organizations who have been very, very modest and forthcoming. Get them involved, banks, Carrefours, and all these businesses, and come up with reasonable training programs and so on. And we can use existing infrastructures like Tipperary Hall and Golden Grove and the community centers, and it's just a matter of working along.